Welcome to the Trading Sliders Podcast. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Episode number 17 of the Trading Sliders Podcast. I am Bobby Puckett. Not in the studio with me today is Kurt the Flash Bennett. Quite frankly, because it's midnight on Sunday as I'm recording this, as I just got home from the Chili Bowl. I'm going to try to get a show up for you guys first thing in the morning. So Flash is obviously not on the line with me today. Not say we do here, the Trading Sliders Podcast. This week's show is being brought to you by Walt at Speed Decals. Please, we say this every week on the podcast. Help people who help us, support people who support us. So if you need anything in the vinyl world, reach out to Walt at Speed Decals. This week's guest is none other than Jack Slash. He's a guy that is a digital creator, producer, movie producer now. He was the guy that originated all this. If you like content, podcast, radio shows, in the sports world, in the racing world, he was the first guy that brought short track racing, especially sprint car racing, to the limelight. Jack Slash was the originator of all these shows that we do. Everybody who has a podcast, they may not know it at the time, but Jack Slash was the originator, the OG, the man that started all this for all of us. He paved the way. And mention about Jack Slash. Listen at your own discretion. He's a little rough around the edges, a real highlighted individual. He believes what he believes, and he stands on what he believes. He's got colorful language. But this is a really good interview here. We sit down and do a deep dive with Jack Slash and talk about the Chili Bowl and all the racing shenanigans that comes with it. But super cool interview with Jack Slash. It's going to be a little colorful at times, but it's worth it. The insight and everything is worth it. This week, like I said, I just got in from the Chili Bowl. There's so much stuff that can be covered at the Chili Bowl, but we're going to keep it short and sweet this week. The racetrack was really, really good. Next week, Flash and I we'll get on here and we'll discuss this Chili Bowl. And Speed Week starts next week. So, Tuesday through Saturday, we got modifieds at Ocala, and Wednesday through Saturday, we have the World of Outlaw late models at Volusia. So Speed Week is upon us. It starts. It's the first of 3 weeks, but Speed Weeks is here, so we'll have plenty of stuff to cover next week. As the train blows through here at midnight. So as you guys know, when you listen to the Trading Sliders Podcast, we've always got something coming and going. As the train just sounds like it blows directly through the studio here. First things first, Clinton Bowles, last week's guest, has a spectacular run on Tuesday night on his qualifier. Ends up third. Car wasn't tore up too bad, but in Clinton Bowles fashion, he failed a tire tech sample. Shout out to Clinton Bowles for being real transparent. He didn't fail the test because he was doping tires. He failed the test because he was cleaning tires, i.e. the same thing that got Bobby Pierce caught up last year. And guys, I'm not real close to this situation, but I did see the tire test. And I don't know how to put this politically correct, but people always got a problem with, Blue Ridge Lab Company. They're like, well, it says it doesn't conform to benchmark. What about this? Well, could they pick this up on the track? Guys, this tire sample straight says Simple Green on it. I mean, it's pretty cut and dry. They know exactly what every chemical is in that tire or what's not in that tire. And in Clinton's, stance, it wasn't that there was a chemical in the tire. There's a chemical out of the tire. It took oil out of the tire is what basically happened. So Clinton does a big in-depth interview on Flow if you guys want to check it out. But shout out to Clinton for being very transparent, doing an interview with it. About it with the guy that, disqualified him. So he spoke on his behalf on what happened. They're being very transparent. It's going to help dirt racing going forwards, in my opinion. One other thing, all 6 nights, the racetrack was in the best shape that it could possibly be in. It was a little dusty Saturday night, but it had a major cushion, and it was really, really exciting. So you can't complain about the racetrack. If you had a problem with the racetrack, it was just you. The atmosphere at the Chili Bowl, it's like nothing else in any motorsport event. I mean, it is like taking a college football bowl game. The atmosphere is like taking a college football bowl game and mixing it with the biggest race in the world. And it's not the competition is fierce. The racing is incredible. But that's just a side story to what the Chili Bowl is. The Chili Bowl is just it's a gathering of people. It's opportunity to hang out with people from different forms of motorsport that you would never see together. I mean, we had an Indy 500 starter, former NASCAR Cup champion. I mean, every type of racing discipline is all in one building, competing for one trophy. It's just incredible. If you've never been to the Chili Bowl, it's first off, it's harder than hell to get tickets, but you can make it happen. We had the in-laws that flew out, and they experienced our first Chili Bowl with the top row rowdies. So you can make it happen. You can hang out in the pits. The pits never sell out, and when I say never sell out, I mean there's 11,000 seats, I think, in the building, and I think there's something like 60,000 people there. So, the pits never sell out. It's like one big mosh pit, the whole pit area. But if you've never been, it's a bucket list type thing. Is it cheap? No, it's not cheap. But is it fun? Is it worth it? Most definitely. Just as a fan, if somebody asks me what's one event that I have to go to, it's just an incredible event. Besides that, just the people, the fan engagement. We met some really good people this year at the Chili Bowl. We had people sit behind us, Rick and Rachel from Wisconsin. It was a father-daughter. They travel with our sprint cars. They're deep in the racing industry and just love racing. Super nice people. The guy that's sitting next to my wife, he's an older gentleman from Anderson, Indiana, of all places, not too far from us, right up the road. His name was Jay. He was super cool, dude. We just talked and BS'd about racing, and just a great person in general. And then there's a couple that sit behind my wife. I didn't get their name, but they're from Crandall, Texas. And they've been coming to the Chili Bowl, I think they said 30 years, or the husband has. The wife, she started coming once she retired. But just super, super great people. I mean, it was, we couldn't have asked for a better group of people to sit around, because we're not real big partiers, but there's plenty of partying going on at the Chili Bowl. And speaking of plenty of partying going on, we did have one lady that sat in front of us that was, kind of belligerent and drunk, but that's she came for the party, and there happened to be a race going on. But with that being said, you kind of get that everywhere. But overall, the Chili Bowl experience was just like it has been on our previous events that we've been to. It was phenomenal. You can't. You can't complain about the Chili Bowl. The only thing you can complain about is not getting no sleep. As my wife will tell you, she is tired. She is wore out. It's a ton of walking. It's just, it's a tough week. It's a real tough week. For people in the local area that, have been to the Halloween 200 or the 3-hour World Figure Eight Championship, and you think that's a tough 2 days, multiply that times 50 and do a week of it, because that's what the Chili Bowl is. But like I said, it's late. We're not going to be on here super long. So please enjoy the interview with Jack Slash. And next week, we will be back to our regular scheduled program. Kurt and I will be in studio covering the races. And we got some pretty good interviews coming up, guys. For everybody that's asking, we got a really, really good old racetrack stuff coming up that you're going to enjoy. But so for now, enjoy the interview with Jack Slash. It's time for the Trading Sliders Deep Dives presented by Kentucky Clutch and Performance. All right, ladies and gentlemen, on the line with me today is none other than the man, the myth, the legend. His mama calls him Sean, but we know him in the racing world as Jack Slash. What's going on, my man?
We're chilling here. Thanks for having us. We're chilling here at home in California on the beach, ducking fires, and all sorts of crazy stuff. David Spade from Tommy Boy's got a $5,000 bounty on locals. He will pay anybody $5,000 if you catch a larson, or excuse me, an arsonist,
Yeah.
or a looter, a larcenist.
Yeah.
Did I just create a new word?
Well,
Dude?
there
Dude,
is some larcenists out here in Tulsa. I'll tell you that.
for real, dude, some larcenists. I think we just coined a new phrase, but yeah, dude, it's good to be here, man, and it's gonna be have fun talking to you about the Chili Bowl and all sorts of fun stuff.
Yeah, well, first things first. For people that don't know who Jack Slash is, first, if you don't know who Jack Slash is, and you really appreciate the YouTube movement, the content creators, the flow and Dirt Vision, well, they can thank you for that. Jack Slash is the one who originated all this. I don't care what people say. You were doing it with a laptop back in the day, following Indiana racing. So people that don't understand who Jack Slash is, if you turn on the Chili Bowl tonight, you just thank this man here because he was the first one bringing us content like this.
Wow, dude, let me go grab a towel real quick. But anyways, yeah, dude, thanks for saying all that.
Well, that's the truth. I mean, we just spit the truth here. I mean, it is the truth. You're the one who started this shit. So,
nah, dude, appreciate all that. Well, this whole Jack Slash thing started in 2005. I grew up here in Southern California, home track Ventura Raceway, home track Ascot, rest in peace. But yeah, man, just grew up here surfing and playing sports and racing and going to the beach and do all the stuff that we do here. And just grew up around a lot of crazy people, man. I mean, Ventura, Southern California, if you've been here, there's a lot of beautiful stuff, but there's not a lot of beautiful stuff. So a lot of homeless, a lot of drugs, alcohol, a lot of crazy shit. And I was subject to that from a very young age. And having a love for movies, having a love for entertainment, having a love and growing up around all these entertainment people as well, and having a love for racing. And I always wanted to put those two together somehow. And a Hall of Fame media member told me once, because when I was coming up on the Jack Slash thing, he looked at me, he's like, what is this guy doing? This is not what the sport needs. You don't need this guy, this kid, showing women, showing loud music, alcohol, and recreational drug use. This is not what our sport needs. Well, he represented the 10%. The other 90 was like, that we do need. So it's been a huge climb, and we started in 2005. A friend of mine, Dean Mills, gave me the name one night at Paris for the Oval Nationals. It was Halloween night. I was dressed up like a rock and roll, and he's like, dude, you look like a Jack Slash. And I'm like, what the hell? I'm standing with a group of people. I'm like, everyone's looking at each other like, huh, yeah, that kind of works.
It kind of works.
That idea. Yeah, I'm like, okay, Jack of all trades, because at the time I was in my early 20s. And here in Southern California, you got to have 7 different jobs to, pay the mortgage or pay the rent. So at that time, I had a bunch of different jobs. I was a janitor, race car driver, video guy, you name it, I did it. So that was where that came from. And then the slash part was from an old NFL football player, Cordell Stewart from the Pittsburgh Steelers. Yeah, so they called him Slash because he did quarterback, running back, tight end, receiver. He did all the positions, right? So anyhow, we took that, I made a website, and then I moved to Indiana. Right around that time, I moved to Indy.
That's when I become familiar with Jack Slash.
Yeah,
At Bloomington every Friday night, and Putmanville on Saturday, and Kokomo on Sunday, and I tell people this, kids that are racing now that that I'm interviewing, and I'm like, yeah, Putmanville used to run on Thursday just because of Jack Slash. No way. I'm like, no, I'm dead ass. Like they ran every Thursday, through the summer because Jack Slash and Brian Clausen was like, hey, we need to do this. And that's what happened.
Wow, man, that's crazy. That's so crazy. So yeah, dude. So I moved to Indy in 2005 and I knew like 3 people, right? I knew Robbie Rice, the Silver Crown Connor, son of Larry Rice, Saturday Night Thunder. I moved in with him. And I knew a couple, like 2 other people. Like Casey Schumann was. So I didn't know anybody. I knew Dio, racing with Dio. He was like a father figure. So I'm like, okay, I know I got some key people, some friends here. But I moved to Indy in the dead of winter. I moved to Indy in like November of actually 2004. So the 2005 season was my first season. So I was like, man, new guy. So next thing you know, I started doing that. I started pushing the envelope. And if you ever seen the Dave Chappelle show and his little bit about talking about people being habitual line steppers,
yeah,
I'm your guy. And forever a habitual line stepper. I'm a guy that loves to push the envelope, and it's because of that entertainment mind, right? And I always live by, if you care about what everybody thinks, you're always going to be their prisoner. So I'm like, I'm going to do what I want. So I did. And like I said, 90% of the people out there received it well. 10% were like, okay, the conservative, like, okay, they're trying to keep the sport conservative, and that 57 to 63 demo, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
So
I know.
like,
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. But
yeah,
honestly,
dude,
though, not to cut you off, but
no.
that demo is actually what, looking back, that demo was the guys who really took a liking to you to begin with.
Right.
At first they were like, oh no, screw this guy. But then after that, after your video and your content come out, and then the internet was just coming along, and you're like, you can log on this guy's website and I can watch every race from the weekend. So I can go to Gas City and still watch Bloomington. Hell yeah, fill me in. So it's funny, it went full circle. The people that had the problems with you was the ones that were using you the most.
Yeah, well, I had to make a change myself in like the direction I wanted it to go, because Tim Clausen one time pulled me aside. He's like, yo, dude, you don't need to do all these gimmicks. Because I remember doing live streams, like shows like we're doing now, but with video in like 2005, 2006.
Yeah.
I remember going to the Chili Bowl and being hooked up with Brian and Ian that now run the Cushion. Well, they had another an original company they started, I think called Race Network or something like that. It's been so long, 20 years, but they sent me all the gear. They saw what we were doing, like, dude, this guy wants to do an after-party live show at the Elephant Run at the Chili Bowl every night starting at midnight.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's see, how are those possibilities? I think we can all benefit from that, don't you think? And we did. I had friends from California that would come out, Dirty Danita and the Divas. She'd bring all her friends, hot friends that worked at the local Nordstroms. Imagine bringing 6 or 7 girls from the local Nordstroms in Southern California to the Chili Bowl.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's gonna go.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the old guys are like, whoa, hold on a second, where are we at now?
Dude, for real. So once we started bringing all this in, people were like, what? And then being friends with Damian Gardner. So we're right in that money spot, that honey spot, and especially taking everything to the Chili Bowl, right? So we're taking all this energy. We got the music, the girls, the parties, we got all these, that's like a giant avalanche coming down. Then we go to the Chili Bowl 2008, and our guy who doesn't even give a fuck about midgets wins the Chili Bowl in Damian Gardner, right? He doesn't even give a shit. He's proud of the fact he's won, of course. But he will tell you with all certainty, he is a sprint car 410 guy to the bone, and he's going to die one.
He's all sprint car all the time.
Yeah, and as he should be. His whole thing is, that's Damian's thing. It's like, okay, these are cool, but I'm still a 410. You never saw Steve Kinzer and Doug Wolfgang get geared up for a micro sprint race. You know what I'm saying? So it's a different time.
Yeah. Well, speaking of getting geared up for the micro sprint race, I'm here at Tulsa for the Chili Bowl, and man, the shootout was bar none. It may have been the race of the year. That Saturday night, non-wing A main. I don't know if we're going to top that all year in any division.
I've done 2 shootouts. I did 2 288.
Yeah.
Dude, I've done 2 of those things, and I will say I'm a huge fan of putting earplugs in and watching the outlaw non-wing cars on a big curb.
Yes.
I'm a big fan of that. The sound, can you imagine if those micros sounded like sprint cars?
Oh, yeah, exactly.
How dope would that be? Just like change them out. Just change out the ring to the 410.
To the roar. Yeah.
So sick. But yeah, man, I did 2 of those. A kid from Indiana hired me to do 2 live. That was the thing, like you said, like that laptop, going back to the Jack Slash thing, where I started to do these guerrilla style radio shows from anywhere. I had like this magical $250 Best Buy laptop that was like a radio station in a notebook, dude. And they're running midgets at the Kansas City Kemper Arena. Oh, we're going, dude, and we're doing it live. We're just gonna bomb in there.
Yeah, you're talking about the show where nobody got paid. I was there that night too.
Yeah, dude, the first one was so cold. It was like 20 degrees. The firemen had to keep the doors open for the ventilation.
For the vents, right? Yeah.
Oh my God! We drove by Arrowhead the next morning. The Chiefs were playing the Dolphins, and we're listening to it on the radio. It's like, welcome back to Arrowhead Stadium. Here, the Chiefs playing the Miami Dolphins here, where it's the second coldest game in the history here in Kansas City, -6. Hello, everyone. I'm Pat Summerall alongside John Madden. I'm like, wait, what did he just say? The second coldest game in the history? Yeah.
Yeah,
What's
we
going
were
on?
racing midgets last night.
Dude, for real. But anyhow, so yeah, we did that shootout, and that first one, what an education, dude. I think we ran like 962,435 races the first day, and I was more sick after the first day than day 6 of a chili bowl.
Yeah.
I was like, nobody told me, dude. Nobody told me nothing. But I will say, I will forever remember some quality stories from that building and that race. But yeah, Outlaw, Don Wing, Big Curb, one of the best things you're ever going to see in your life.
Yeah, well, so that's one thing I want to talk about right now. The first 2 nights through the Chili Bowl, it was super exciting. I mean, I don't think they have got the track right in the last 3 or 4 years, but with the shootout and the first 2 nights of the Chili Bowl, if you bitch about this racetrack, you're just not a race fan. I mean, it's slick. It's got a monster curve. It's technical. It's a racer's racetrack. I don't know if they can keep it going all week, but for now, shout out to Chili Bowl Gravel for taking care of the racetrack, because the racetrack has been perfect so far.
Well, I'll tell you, man, my style of racing, I grew up watching, like I said, going to Ventura, racing Ventura, going to Ascot, where it was a very moist
Yeah.
and cushion. And, again, Manzanita. So growing up going to Manzanita and Phoenix. And I grew up watching guys like, Richard. All it does to me as a fan with an entertainment mind is it just raises expectations, right? Like, you're pumped.
Yeah, you're
Like,
ready to go.
Just looking at the entry list tonight, you're like, Jesus Christ, tonight is like, what happened? The expectations are super high, right? So for me, watching the conditions, I'm a big surf guy. I'm in the surf world. Conditions, waves, the quality, the conditions, it all matters. So if you got shitty waves, ankle slappers, and you got the best guys in the water, it don't matter if you got the best guys in the water, right?
Yeah,
It's like
exactly.
on the racetrack, it don't matter if you got the best guys in the building. If you don't give them the right conditions to showcase what they can do, and guess what, dude? Not all 393 are the same talent. So this is why Corey Day is an elite talent, because that kid can run the cushion with all-out abandon and speed and be reckless, make it look pretty, make it look not pretty, but still win races. That's the kind of, when I go spend all $2,000 as a fan in Tulsa, I want to get that kind of money's worth. I don't want to go see Burn the Wall, Bone Slick, Pedal Fest on the verge of ice. Nah.
Yeah.
These guys, let these guys do what they do. We're gonna find out real quick who the top tier talent elite are and who the guys who are B, C's, and D talents are. That's cool, and that's okay, because all that means is the Corey Day, Christopher Bell, Kyle Larsons, they're elite because they can do what 380 guys cannot, will not do.
Yeah,
And
well,
that's cool. That's what. So that's just me. So tonight, every night, I want to see that big curb left front in the air, dirt exploding off the right rears, guys bicycling, guys trying to figure it out, guys hit the top and go, fuck that. Then they go to the bottom and go, fuck that.
yeah, right back to the top.
Yeah, it's like, dude,
Yeah.
I like watching guys racing like they're scared, but they also want to win.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I want to see guys' elbows banging off of arm guard. I don't want to see low and slow. I don't want to see work in the middle, the Don line. No.
Yeah.
I want to see guys out there real. Here's the thing: is Chili Bowl. We see so many people. The merch monsters are in full form, dog. Full form.
Yeah, facts.
So,
That's big time facts.
Which is okay. It's okay, but listen, it's so much more cooler doing it this way. Is go put on a show, Lennon Brooks. Trust me.
Yeah.
If they want a shirt, they'll come find you. Lennon Brooks, shout out Northern California. Dude, so impressed with this kid. And he couldn't be in any better company. This kid is already a millionaire race car driver, and he doesn't even know it. When you're friends with all the NorCal crew.
Yeah, when you got Shane Goldbeck backing you, you're pretty damn good.
How about this? You tell me the last time you saw a guy in Victory Lane get out and 15 fellow racers come up and mob him.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you something that's cool about that. His crew was sitting, about 3 rows ahead of us. About 3 laps to go when he pulls the slider. I mean, they're jumping up, fist pumping, and they already took off running to the ramp with 3 to go. Like, they already knew they were winning that damn thing when he threw that slider before they didn't even see the crossover.
It was so great. Like I said, man, this racing culture, I've been in long enough, seen it all so far. but there's still that feel-good brotherhood support system versus it's always me, I. And last night, I saw literally a mob of NorCal kids rush one of their homies, and you do not see that. You don't see that kind of love in that building for other drivers, and you saw that in Landon Brooks, and that says a lot about Northern California, who doesn't get a whole lot of publicity and press, even though literally 90% of the best drivers right now are from Northern California.
Yeah,
So,
California they're on a roll right now.
Dude, I mean,
between California and Oklahoma, they pretty much got everybody covered.
agreed.
I mean, it is what it is. I mean,
USAC, we need to do a show called "Who's the Next Indiana Superstar?" Because who's next?
we get to claim guys like Ricky Lewis and them who come over and race for 2 or 3 years. So that's how we claim them. You might be from California, but or Nevada or wherever you're from, but when you're sleeping in the race shop and making a living and learning your craft in Indiana, we claim you.
About Ricky Lewis, we're from the same town, so his dad Rick, God rest his soul, he was in same grade as my dad. They went to the same high school. So Rick Lewis and Ricky's mom, they started racing sprint cars at Ventura. I met them, dude, back in the knees.
Yeah, see, I had Ricky, not to cut you off, I had Ricky Lewis on the show about a month ago, and he was telling me how his mom and dad both raced, and he was so pumped, like, yeah, my mom raced sprint cars. I was like, what?
Dude, straight up. So I met them in the 90s during the big SCRA sprint car days back in the day here in California with Cruzman and all the, everybody, Rip Williams and all them. At least I started seeing them a lot. Well, next thing you know, they got a little baby. Big old freaking bug-eyed little curly-haired little baby with a big old head on it. I go, what the hell is that? He goes, this is my son, Ricky. I go, what'd you do? Name him after Ricky Gaunt? And he goes, yeah, matter of fact. And I'm like, not really thinking like, well, Ricky.
Yeah.
Real, dude. Like, thinking we went with it because it was a better story. But anyways, so I remember seeing Ricky, dude. It's like his dad raced, his mom raced the sprint car. And they had a nice car, a beautiful black number 50. I mean, this thing was pimp. It wasn't no 3,500 or best offer at the swap meet. This thing was legitimate. And they ran against some tough people. So as time went on, I hear about this Ricky Lewis. I'm like, is that the same dude? And he's out here in Ventura banging the wall down. He's out here at Turkey Night, putting it on him, making enemies, making friends, dude,
Yeah.
making dreams come true. I mean, he goes out to Indiana, Ohio, Texas. This guy's running Waynesfield, Ohio one night, Texas the next. It's like, Jesus Christ. This guy's doing freaking deep sea fishing tours, dude. This is a freaking novelty. Oh, another thing, too, is we got a really good surf spot here by the harbor in Ventura.
Yeah.
He'll love this. You'll love this. I'm hanging on the left at the stoplight, and there's a classic, everywhere in Southern California, everybody's a freaking entrepreneur, right? Everybody's got a sticker and a brand, so everything has stickers on it everywhere out here. So I look on the sign as I'm turning left at the stoplight, and I see a DRC chassis sticker. And I'm like, what? Like on the turn left sign.
That's funny.
Sign.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that could only be literally two people. Me, my buddy Chris Trammell that builds engines here here in Southern California, and Ricky. So I'm like, it was Ricky. So last week I drive by and there's like a Red Line Oil sticker. Yeah, because it's right there at the harbor. I mean, it's a piece of work.
I'm a huge fan.
Is he running the Chili Bowl?
No, he's not running the Chili Bowl. When I had Ricky on, he tells me, he goes, I said, you going to the Chili Bowl? He goes, well, I might come in and just check it out. I was like, oh, okay. He's like, man, I've been racing so much and I'm preparing to go to Florida. I think he's going to give USAC a go for the whole year. So he's like, I'm going to Mexico. Piss on it. I'm not going to Chile, but I'm going to go to Mexico on a vacation. So him and his girlfriend went to Mexico for the week. I think he's back in town now. Maybe Wednesday or Thursday he was going to try to make it on the way back home, to stop in for a few days.
And I got to let all these people know right now, all you kids out there, whoever, dude, listen. Everybody's got that FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. Well, you don't have to have it anymore. I remember the days of the Chili Bowl where you couldn't listen, watch anything, dude. You had to go on hose heads and just sit there and hit the refresh button.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, thank God we have what we have now. But here's another thing. Yeah, dude, the Chili Bowl's a big deal. But guess what? it's not the end of the world if you actually are a person. You're like, you know what? I just call me an asshole, call me whatever, but I'm not that into it. And it's cool. I'll watch it. But dude, Sleepy Trent, one of the world's greatest midget racers of all time, never turned a lap inside the Expo Center, dog. Never one lap.
Well, one thing Ricky Lewis told me, he said,
It's okay not to go, is what I'm saying. It's
yeah.
okay.
Oh no. Yeah, no. I get that. But one thing he told me, he said, it takes roughly $10,000 to do it cheaply. To go out there and race. He said, $10,000 covers half of my tire bill for the USAC year. So I'm just gonna, do what I want to do with that money. And I was like, well, that makes sense to me. I mean, it's not like he's a rich kid that he can just go get whatever ride he wants. I mean, he works his ass off for it. Yeah, no true words. And that's what I told Ricky. Yes, you've always been a guy that does it his way. He's got a guy in Indiana that owns his engines, and he's traveling the country, living his dream, living his best life, living out of his trailer. I'm a huge fan of Ricky Lewis. I call it the Jeff Gordon effect. You're going to move to Indiana and make it. And Ricky, he's got bright future in his hay.
He does, man. He's funny. He's got style. I'm big on style, and I'm big on people that don't really necessarily follow trends, and they just do their own thing. And he comes across as a dude. He just does his own thing. He's like, whatever, dude. He's like me, dude. I lost my dad a couple years ago. It's like, if you lose your dad, dude, you got a whole new set of eyes and a whole new outlook on life where, yeah, you're ready to turn it loose out there more than ever. And he sure is. So for him to show up to Volusia and give a go on the USAC trail, dude, that's exactly what he needs. It's exactly what we need.
Yeah, well, that's what I said. That's what I told him. I said, I don't know if Flo can handle you for a whole year. And, yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I told him. I said, you're probably going to sell more T-shirts than you've ever even think about selling. In the same token, you're going to get so many negative social media comments, it's not even going to be funny. Like, you need to have a whole Ricky Lewis fan page of who I pissed off this week.
Well,
yeah,
get out of that.
Yeah.
Also,
Well, the thing about the T-shirts at the Chili Bowl, I guess I'm old now. I remember when you used to show up and T-shirt was $20, and that was the fancy one with the bright colors. You could get one for 10 or 15, and now you walk by, it's $40 to $50 for a T-shirt. I'm like, son of a bitch.
Well, here's the thing, dude. What I was going to tell you was, knowing this is that the Chili Bowl is an opportunity. It's an opportunity for you, for me, for a driver, for media, for a photographer, for a video guy, for a crew chief, for anybody to get out of the grandstands, go from fan status to superstar status. And the Chili Bowl is the place to do that. So a lot of people make sure that Chili Bowl's on that calendar for all those reasons where, yeah, summer guys are there to just run it and drink beer and have fun and eat mac and cheese out of the crock pot with grandma and grandpa. That's awesome. But they also got the guys that are there to win it and parlay that and build that opportunity. So I think we see that part now more than ever, where kids with YouTube and social media and TikTok and Snapchat and all this other stuff see me. And that...
Well, it's like Tanner Holmes. I mean, Tanner Holmes has pretty much grown a whole brand through YouTube. And now like T-Mez, with T-Mez TV. And I mean, all T-Mez is doing is the same shit you did 20 years ago. And, now he's making a name for himself doing it. So
I told him 20 years ago, dude, I remember this. I remember doing selfie style video. I had this little Sony point and shoot, little $90 Best Buy shitter. And I remember always doing, back in 05, 06, I'd do the flip around where people would make fun of me. They go, hey, I'm Sean Buckley recording myself. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And then a year later, I kid you not, Paris Hilton comes out and coins the phrase selfie.
Yeah.
And then...
Well, that's because Paris Hilton was a fan of Jack Slash.
What's that?
That's because Paris Hilton was a big fan of Jack Slash.
Dude, she still is, dude. She's still rocking that Dodger hat, dude. Yeah. I love all her work, dude. I love her videos, dude. They're great. She's got some skill. Where are all, and I want to see them, trust me. Where are, speaking of Chili Bowl and media, where are all the badass, where are all my badass chicks at, dude? Where are all my badass female content creators? There's 11,000 people in that building. And we don't know 5 women, 5 girls that can't kick ass and do some badass content and link up and go, yo, we're standing here. This is the way. This is how you get around Tulsa. This is what we do. What are they at?
That's a damn good question because I don't know.
Because I watch Flow and I'm thinking, is this race just floating along on a giant Navy ship full of dudes? Like, what is this? Like, the broadcast, dudes, commercials, dudes, all the segments, dudes. It's like, okay, this is cool. Racing's cool, but this is the bro fest of all bro fests. You know, we don't need chicks getting their tits out live in front of children in family homes. It's got to teeter on the conservative side. But we also need to, like, sit in a room a couple weeks before the Chili Bowl and go, hey, what are we going to do different? We know there's 400 midgets in the building. We know everybody who's from NASCAR, IndyCar, whatever. We know this is the biggest free span building in the world. Now what? Now what?
Yeah.
So when I watch that, I'm like, bro.
All right, let me ask you this.
We need life. We need something. We need something. You know?
Let me ask you this: for somebody who done it so long, would you be willing to, sign on at Flow? Because I know you had your chance doing some World of Outlaw stuff and stuff, but would you be willing to work for Flow or Dirt Vision and hit the road again, or is that something that you just like piss on that? I'm just going to stay home and hang out in California.
There are too many people that were heading towards a talented road, heading toward a road to where they could make a big contribution in racing for the community, for the culture. That's what I'm most interested in. I'm almost 50 years old, dude. I've been watching cars and going in circles for almost half a century. I know what that part looks like. It's the other 50% of the deal that I'm concerned with, which is the entertainment side. Chili Bowl preview show with my friends on YouTube. And I'm going to do it right before the Dirt Vision show. So it's going to go Jack Slosh pre-show, Dirt Vision, live on Flow. That's a nice little whatever. Couldn't get nothing to work, dude. I looked like
I know how that feeling.
Yeah, first day, dude. First day. It's me and Chase Rodman. We're co-hosting the deal from High Limit. He's an old friend, teenager from Northern California, so we got that West Coast connection. First show on Monday, who do we get? Lucky 13, Monday, Lucky 13. We get our old pal Logan Seavey on there. He comes and saves us. He comes on the show. It was magical. We had like at least 8, maybe 9 people watching. It was unbelievable. but seriously.
Well, here's the thing, though. It doesn't really matter how many's watching or how many's listening. If you're getting it out there, it's the same way you're talking about, if you run well, you'll sell the T-shirt. Once word gets out, they'll listen. I've learned that. I've learned that through this, through this podcast. Because I'm like, the first time I'm like, shit, I don't think we're going to get anybody. And then like the next week, I'm like, oh, shit, 1,200 people? Okay.
Yeah, exactly, dude. It's exactly it. So I'll tell you what my dad told me for so many years, whether I was doing the media side, whether I was racing sprint cars, whatever it was. He says, do it for the right reasons. And don't be that asshole. Yeah, so, okay, we're bouncing around. Where were we? So we're bouncing around like crazy, but it's all good.
Well, that's the way my show goes. We'll have a topic, and we'll never even discuss it. That's just what we do, because something better comes. I mean, hell, we're going to talk about the Chili Bowl, but do you want to talk about Follow the Corn documentary? I mean, I don't care. I can go either way.
Dude, no, dude. Chili Bowl. So here, I'll tell you a couple of really funny stories about the Chili Bowl, dude. And so my first one went... So I didn't get to go for a long time until I actually moved to Indy. I got free tickets from Scott Hampton, his dad. He come up and goes, yo, man, you went to the Chili Bowl? I go, nah. He liked what we did. He goes, here's a couple tickets. I'm like, what? So we went down in 05 or 6. I don't know, maybe, I don't know what year. It was the first year Stewart won. Stewart won. Anyways, loved it, right? Elephant. This was like right on the tail end of the whole Elephant Run and the Taylor Weld parties and the after parties, and like this was on the tail end of all that. So here I am, a young guy, early mid 20s, and I look over and I see this was back when grown ass men were racing midgets, right? You look over and you're like, whoa, hey, Dave Darlin, Tony Elliott, Shane Cottle,
Jerry Coons Jr. Yeah,
dude, like little, like grown-ups, not like little kids that can't, like, and growing up in that world, and that everybody's defense, the new scene, I mean, the pre-cell phone era was great.
Yeah, well, life was just better then, honestly.
The pre-cell phone era, specifically at Chili Bowl, was fantastic. I mean, you never knew what you could see, and you would see the biggest names in racing walk in every night. So as time went on, I started to get comfortable, and it's like, you know what? I need to bring that Jack Slash stick out here and just see what we can do. I took my little $250 Toshiba laptop from Best Buy, my little radio station and a notebook, brought a Verizon Air card to the Chili Bowl and told everybody on MySpace, which was the only
Yeah.
social media at the time, yo, MySpace. And I had a little chicken shit weekly show, and I'd let everybody know what we're doing. Like during the week, I'm real big on that. If you want to move the needle, you gotta have a podcast or a show current on Wednesday or during the week to keep us connected. That's the glue. So we did that. So he said, yo, we're going to the Chili Bowl. We're doing a live show from 3 to 4 every day from the pits. They're like, what?
Yeah, every day. Yeah.
That. Nobody has done that. Like, are you sure you can do that? What do you mean, am I sure? Again, remember, nobody had phones like we have now. Nobody. So I'm like, I went to Kemp Arena and did it. I mean, I pissed off all these people for whatever reason. So I'm like, nah, dude, it says it right here on the Chili Bowl website. It says it's the Super Bowl of midget racing. I'm like, hey, every time I watch the Super Bowl and all these guys are doing media row, I see Fox, NBC, CBS, ESPN. I see them all. So it's like, makes sense. We're going. So we go. We get there first day. Goes great. I got my buddy D Mills here. We're having all of our buddies on the show. I mean, you got Casey Kane, you got Brad Sweet as a little guy, you got Shane Meal, Kevin Swindell, and that's when the fun happened.
Yeah.
So, classic story. We're standing there doing the show live. I got the chat going. We got, 30, 40 people. It's watching. It's great. One of the promoters from the Chili Bowl walks up, not Emmett, the other dude.
Yeah.
Lanny Edwards, God rest. He walks over and he goes, do you know what you're doing is illegal? Right on the air. Walks right up to me and Kevin, like cuts right in front of Kevin. Kevin's like, whoa. Kevin, he's like the clown prince of Tulsa. You know what I mean? He's like, he's royalty. Right?
Yeah.
So he cuts right in front of Kevin. He goes, you know what you're doing is illegal? And I'm like, wait a minute, what? So he repeats himself. I said, hold on a second. So I go to a commercial, and I just play like 2 hours of commercials, and I see the chat like, uh-oh,
Yeah.
shit's going down. So I kept it cool. Again, dude, I'm only like 25,
Yeah.
26 years old.
Not only do you not know it's illegal, you don't even know what the hell you're doing exactly yet. You're in the process of learning it all.
Yeah, so he comes up and he goes, you know what you're doing is illegal. And I said, okay, let's go over here and talk. And I'm like, what are you talking about? So I kind of blew him off at first. And then he walked away, and we went back on the air, and they're like, who was that? I didn't know who it was. Like, the guy walks up with a big old jacket on. Like, he looks like a fan from the Chili Bowl, like a wandering fan.
That's funny.
I have no idea. So 10 minutes goes by, and everyone's like, yeah, what was that all about? And Kevin's not saying anything. Like, if he would have said, oh, yeah, that one was back over, like, I would have been, oh, okay. So he comes back over the dude with a Tulsa Sheriff. With a big old 357 on his hip. I go, what the fuck is going on? I go, did I murder anybody and not know? Like, did I steal something and not know? Am I being targeted here? Am I being profiled by the CIA? What's going on? He comes up and goes, we gotta have a talk, the sheriff. I go, what the hell? So now like 5, 6, 7, 2,000 people are watching me walk into this trailer with Lanny and this sheriff. I go, okay, let's talk in the trailer. So what's the problem? So Lanny, God bless him, he was really an interesting dude, man, and an innovator, clearly.
Yeah, clearly,
Yeah. This is just one of those funny moments in life. But he goes, listen. He goes, and he was right. He just wanted to be heard. So he goes, this is a Lucas Oil race. This is a Lucas Oil race. Lucas Oil gives us a whole bunch of money, and you're coming in here and fucking it all up by doing live video. I go, whoa. I said, listen, I know what you're saying. I ain't get it. But I'm not doing live video. We're just simply doing a radio show. Literally, like, we're just literally doing a radio show right now. That's why we have the headsets and the little microphones. We're doing a radio show. It's like a podcast, but we're doing it live. What's a podcast? Anyways, that term wasn't even. So anyways, he says, well, this is a Lucas Oil race. I don't want him doing video. I don't want him here. Lucas. And I look at him, and I look at the sheriff. I look back at Lenny, and I go, bro, you're wearing an STP jacket.
That's funny.
And the sheriff looks at me, and he literally said these words, well, it looks like we're done here, guys. So I became a real problem that day. So it's continued on, and it's fun. I mean, it's fun for me. I mean, those guys do a great job with the Chili Bowl. They really do. I mean, everybody blows them a bunch of shit, you know. I mean, we get the fence repair timeouts. I mean, we got to love those.
Well, I
You
mean,
know,
here's the thing about the fence repair timeouts. If we don't have the fence repair timeouts, we don't have the big video board who has the like last night Clint Bowles flipping down the front stretch. I mean, you kind of need all that.
Dude, that's great. But no, I'm just saying, like last night, for instance, like it just seemed like when you watch from home, like you see the tides turn. Like when you're in the building, you don't. It's different. It's a different experience, right? It's a completely different experience. If I had Wikipedia on the show, his experience at the Chili Bowl is 10 times different than somebody like me sitting at home getting to experience and stomach what we have to stomach on our end, right?
Yes.
So the point is it's funny how the tide throughout the night turns, and it's like the Chili Bowl officials are still, they go pretty hard on old Mike. We're thinking this, maybe it's just Mike admitted he didn't latch his belt, and then Sweet's having a tough time. It's like, man, the high limit gods are not shining real bright right now.
Yeah, they didn't do their part. That's for sure.
Right. So like it's funny that when you see the night kind of go, the flow of the night, and this and that, it's like an ocean out there. And then you see like, the fence repairs. It's like, oh shit, we're going red. Hey, is that guy's front end fixed yet? No, he's got to put the radius rods on. All right, we'll give him another minute. It almost leads you to believe it's too coincidental, right? And it's just too coincidental. So, but here's the thing. It doesn't matter. People fist fighting and people drunk and people doing on the ramp shit. It's cool entertainment stuff, but don't let it get to that point. If you own the car and somebody's hitting your shit, hey, take it up with the driver, take it up with them. But all this extra anger, all the extra venom, it's unnecessary. When all you got to do is tell funny stories and laugh. Don't take it so serious.
Well,
I told Steve the other day, said, listen, dude, the whole thing is way too overly serious. The only time racing gets serious is when you flip the switch. When you flip the switch and that car lights off, that's when it gets serious. But anything before that point, chill out, everybody, relax.
Well, I think a lot of that stems from, it's like we're talking the corporate side of it. It's so corporate, and there's so many guys that has so much at stake. And like the guys that's working for Keith Coons, I mean, they're doing it for a living now, where when there's more money involved and there's higher stakes involved, there's more emotion involved. And it gets to the point where, is it just an event, or are you just being an asshole? You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's fun, man. I mean, honestly, the broadcast is like an event in itself. Like, you know who do you watch the broadcast? Or no, you're
no, I'm there. I'm there. I watch it. I watch some things back the next morning, but I don't watch the whole broadcast because I'm already there 12 hours a day anyways.
Oh, for sure, dude, for sure. Well, there is one of the commentators that I tend to connect with the most, and it's most relatable to me, and that's Earl Hoon Jr., dude. I mean, first of all, what a name.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, a lot of things rhyme with Buck. Proud. I feel like this guy can really turn it loose. I mean, he loves it. It looks like he needed a segment. I told him, like, dude, you need to do he likes to smoke. It's like, well, dude, you need to do a segment called Heaters with Hoon. Like, you need to tap into these things.
Yeah.
Like, that was my big problem 20 years ago doing the Outlaw deal on ESPN and Speed, when we were still televising races in standard definition, the old square, style.
Yeah.
4x3. We weren't even in HD yet. And I got there, and I'm like, man, within 2 seconds, I turned into the tucked-in polo shirt, belly hanging over my belt, khakis, and New Balance guy in 2 seconds flat.
Yeah, like, here's the thing, too. You were smiling the whole time. I was like, he is not having fun. You could just tell in those broadcasts. It wasn't that the work was bad, but you could just tell it was like, that's not the same dude I talked to at Lincoln Park for 2 hours one night.
Problem, but to be expressive and not be afraid to express yourself. And I think right now in racing, we need people to express themselves, but also be funny. I posted this video with Ricky Gahn a few years ago. He was down there with Wilner, and Ricky Gahn, I had the pleasure of not only being a good friend of Ricky's, but he gets it. It's the entertainer racer. He was a good racer, champion, but also he understood the value of how much power that microphone has and how much you can use that and having a plan. We brought up Damien. We just finished up a movie with Damien that we're putting out this year for everybody to see. the world's fastest sprint car. And in the movie, Damien was a freak. He is a freak.
Yeah,
I mean, he didn't start racing sprint cars till he was 26. And the guy has the most USAC championships besides AJ Foyt.
Yeah, that's almost unthinkable,
It's crazy. And the crazy thing is, too, is that when you watch this movie, Damien has a lot of interesting things to say, things that I've covered throughout this thing, where, listen, if you always go around, like I said, caring what other people think all the time and not speaking up, you're always going to be their prisoner, dude. So be expressive. If you have something to say, it's okay to say it. Here's another example on where our industry's at right now. I go to Knoxville a couple years ago to do the world premiere. Damien and I are there to do the world premiere for the movie. Had a great time. Knoxville treated us so good. Town is awesome. All that shit. Saturday, A-Main rolls around. I get a call from my buddy Rico at Fatheads. He's like, "Hey, man, what's going on?" So we're partying, we're hanging out, and we ended up slipping into this suite of a car owner. And inside was a refrigerator of Modelo. It was like the Dr. Dre video with all the...
That's funny.
It was Modelo's. So we walk in, and I see homie. He's like, "Yo, how you been?" Blah, 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 blah. And, this car owner is a former driver and, fun dude, party animal. You could cut the tension with a knife.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, here I am at the Knoxville Nationals with an entire refrigerator full of ice cold Modelo. We've got all the little munchies, small snacks you can handle. We're hanging out in great company, but we're not having fun. Well, why aren't we having fun? Because we're surrounded by a bunch of people that don't really necessarily know what this is all about, but they want to give these people over here money to do it. And that got me thinking, like, well, wait a minute. Why would you align yourself with sponsors that don't believe in what you do on and off the racetrack? So now you're having to adhere to their policies, to their needs and wants, when now you're affecting your people around you. You got to start doing this. It's like, what is this? I got into racing to have fun, like straight up. I'm not telling everybody to be drunks and drug addicts and cheat on your wife, but I'm saying have a plan.
Well, and that's one good thing about the Chili Bowl. It is a lot of fun. I mean, when you're out here, I mean, there's people staying at a hotel that I have no idea. I had breakfast with them yesterday morning, and they're an older couple, and they're just like, yeah, well, he's like, yeah, I had to like carry my wife in last night, and so they had fun on a different aspect. Where me, I'm counting the slide jobs, and I'm like, yeah, that was good. You know what I'm saying? Dude. So you could go up or down either way that you want to go on that.
I'm a freak, dude. Like I went to Turkey Night Friday night for the sprint cars.
Oh, hold on. Before you get into this, the Turkey Night videos that you were posting on Instagram about walking over and you're giving them track prep tips and stuff. When we talked about it we did probably a 15-20 minute segment on the show about that. That was some of the funniest stuff I've seen the whole year. You're like, cut this bourbon, juice it up top. What are you doing?
Well, I'll tell you I'll give you some context to that. I'll give everybody some context to that. I obviously grew up at the track, home track, and I love Jim Naylor, man. Jim, you're enough, bro. But the thing is when you're in that spot that he is in, you got every Tom, Dick, and Harry coming at you, telling you don't know what you're doing. And then you got someone like me saying shit, lifelong friend, family connections. That guy's given me more opportunities than most. He gave me the first microphone. Hey, go do interviews. Hey, here's a place. I did the Corey Cruisen Sprint Car School for 4 or 5 years, helping, working. I mean, I'm connected to Ventura Raceway as anybody, right?
Yeah.
And me being expressive, me being this and that, me being completely opinionated and outspoken, but also having a big heart. I just felt like the fans, the racers, the people, the entire industry is not getting and was not getting the Ventura Raceway that I grew up watching, that a lot of us grew up watching. And I wanted to make a point that if we want to get it here, you can't have light without darkness, man, right?
Yeah, that's true there. I mean,
so if I have to be the guy at this point in my career, in my life, to climb to the mountaintops and take the arrows and take the bullets for the greater good, I will. And I do. So that was a moment where I'm like, you know what? I'm going to say something, but I'm going to have it all turn around and come back in the end. And this is what I did. I called it out. I called out what so many people, everybody leaves that place disappointed in November, except for the winner.
And the way today's world is, half of them people are still pissed off too.
Right. So again, it goes back to fun. It goes back to enjoying ourselves. It goes back to effort. It goes back to doing the right thing with the resources that we have. Well, that's what he does. And again, am I just another asshole opinion that doesn't matter? Well, we're going to test it out. So let's test it out. So I put those videos up explaining my relationship and why I don't go back to my home track. And then a week later, I called the man, mano a mano, and we hammered it out for 90 minutes. I said what I had to say. He certainly said what he had to say. And rightfully so.
And rightfully so. It's his place. I mean,
and rightfully so. I hammered him and he hammered me tenfold. And that's cool. But I was ready for it. So we hammered it out. And the very next day, guess what happened? I doubled down. He did something for me, Jim, that nobody's done. Is he called me on my birthday, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, and says, hey, his shop's right around the corner from my house. So he says, hey, come on over Saturday. I got a surprise for you. What's that? Just show up. This is Jim Naylor, the guy.
The man in charge, yeah.
Yeah, I show up, and there's food, a cake, a banner that says happy 40th birthday. Yeah, it was 6-7 years ago. Happy 40th birthday, Sean, with pictures of the whole, like a 10-foot by 20 banner, dude. I'm like, what? Where are the strippers? I got a pony? Like, what a dunk tank? What else we got? Sleepy Trip and his wife, Erin, who used to be the head chef for Prince in Minnesota. And she made us food. Handmade cake. 40th birthday, chilling out with my world's greatest race car driver, Sleepy Trip. Also, Jim Naylor's favorite race car driver ever, Sleepy Trip. Now, the very next morning, Jim Naylor and I had our long talk, and it got emotional on all fronts, from anger to tears, a lot of shit, man. It was needed, I think, for both of us. But I doubled down the next morning, and I took him a rare piece of art of Sleepy Trip that I had done by this amazing Australian kid named Jamie Nardini, great artist. I commissioned him to do this great painting of Sleepy Trip. And I gave a print to Jim. And I said, there's 3 people in the world, well, 4 in the world that have this. Me, you, the artist, and Sleepy. There's 4 of us that have these.
That's cool as hell.
So, that being said, I think that needed to happen for me. And if it helped him or whatever, but I think it did. And I think the people that know that story and saw the videos and now the context and go, holy shit. So what happens? What happens now? I show up to Turkey Night Friday night for 60 sprint cars and midget practice. And I'm sitting with a bunch of friends. And I'm watching Ricky Lewis and Carson Macedo and all these guys throwing sliders, bouncing off the wall. We had not seen guys rip the wall at Ventura, mud flying off of turn 2 at Ventura on the wall in years. Years. Did my vote count?
Well, it's on the Trading Sliders podcast. I said people may not understand this, but Jack Slash is doing God's work in California. I said because we have a cushion and we got sprint cars flying all over the place, and Ventura's not been like that. So it's on record. It's a few shows back, but it is on record that that was said on our end, because I don't know if it worked, but it sure the hell, like you was talking about coincidence about Buddy Kofoid getting enough time to get his rear end fixed. If it was coincidence, it was a hell of a coincidence, but it worked.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, man, and this is a great analogy in racing. And again, my longtime friend Damian Gardner slipped it to me one day, and he said this about life, but specifically in racing. There's people out there that would rather lose doing it their way than win with yours. And you gotta be careful with those people and stay away. They'd rather lose doing it their way than win with yours. That means they don't listen. They don't listen. That's a problem. So now you're making it difficult. So not saying that Jim, I'm the same way. I'm as stubborn as an old pack mule. My old lady will tell you.
Yeah, man, hell, you got banned from the Chili Bowl building. What are you talking about? Hell yeah, you're stubborn.
So, but the point is this, man, is there is a spiritual community, cultural element to all of this that I'm tapped into now more than ever. Man, it's the Chili Bowl. What are you going to do? It's the biggest, it's literally the coolest race in the world. Name me another one. There's not.
Yeah, there's not. That's what I tell people all the time. I say, this is the best event there is. And you don't even have to be a midget guy. You can love sprint cars, wing sprint cars. You can love dirt late model race. It don't matter what you love. If you walk in that building and you're like, holy shit.
There's a key word to the Chili Bowl. It's not the racing. It's none of that. It's the engagement. It's the whole backyard barbecue vibe. That's what makes it so great. And my question is, well, what makes the Chili Bowl so great? Is it midgets? No, it's the engagement. It's the community. It's the whole thing. Like, you can be you could be a fringe midget person or a sprint car fan and be so engaged on all the shit you read on Twitter during the race. It's amazing. Like, the engagement, that's the key word right here, right now, moving forward. Listen, whether you're high limit, World of Outlaws, USAC, Flow, or Dervision, the key word is engagement. Get the fans involved. Get them involved. Christopher Bell crying in victory lane, dude. Let him win.
Yeah.
He feels like he just beat the worst murder case of his life. I mean, and good for him. If one little thing goes his way in the last 4 out of 5 years, he'd be like a 3-time Cup champion. And everybody would doing goat emojis on Bell.
Yeah.
Here's another thing.
Go ahead. Yeah.
One more quick thing. Here's another thing about Bell to wrap him up. And I love Larson. California, West Coast, let's go. Shout out Janet Larson. Mike, what's up? Hopefully we're still building slot cars up there, buddy.
Yeah.
Dude, side story. Mike Larson's built some of the best slot car shit you've ever seen. Handmade midgets, handmade sprint cars. Anyways.
Another side story to that. We have a slot car track here in Louisville. Next time you're in the Louisville area, hit me up. We run slot car figure 8 racing here in Louisville.
Oh my!
It is some of the craziest shit you've ever seen.
Dude, that sounds like that sounds like a weekly YouTube live stream. Imagine doing commentating for a slot car figure 8.
Oh man, it is. It is crazy.
Series?
Yeah, it is so crazy. Yeah,
dude, I'm all about that.
So,
well, the Larson thing, like, I mean, you don't think Kyle Larson's tired of everybody glazing him every day? Hey, Kyle, can we talk to you for a few minutes? So what's it like to race here in the building, man? What's it going to mean to you to win this again? So the point is Larson's great, dude. He's great. And everywhere he goes, he shines the light bright. That's what we need, right? But he doesn't have to be the only one. He's not that 1 in a trillion talent. Dude loses more than he wins.
Yeah, for sure.
But but that doesn't mean you can't, bro. Like, look at Landon Brooks. Look what is in the water in Northern California. Whatever's in their water, it ain't in our water.
Yeah, but you guys don't even got no water down here in SoCal. Shit, you got fires going everywhere.
I mean, go through the history books, dude, of Northern California greats. Jimmy Sills, Jimmy Boyd. I mean, Chuck Gurney, Tim Kading, Bud Kading, Brent Kading, Ronnie Day. I mean, the list goes on and on. I go new school on you. Damian Gardner, Brad Sweet. The list goes on and on and on and on. It's like the NorCal pipeline. Like, well, you think Keith Coons has been hiring all these dudes just because he gets lucky? Toyota should be putting a Toyota Center and building a brand new outlaw car track up there for these guys. Straight up. It's crazy. Right? So anyways, trying to get back to the whole point. Like, so if Kyle Larson is this huge deal, right? And he is. But if Christopher Bell can show up after 3 years and beat the best 19 other cars in the building easily,
yeah,
and people are putting the goat emoji on Larson, well, what the is Christopher Bell? 3 goats?
Yeah,
like,
yeah. He's
like, it's crazy. And the thing is like, dude, this week the Chili Bowl is the best race in the world. It's a part of that fun engagement, right? You can do shows like this. I can do my shows. Again, getting back to it, it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity for all of us to give, right? Not take. Too much of that going on.
Yeah, there's way too much of that going on.
Give. It's not all about you, me. But straight up, man, this week, it's so amazing. It's incredible. It's really, really, really incredible. We are in an era of racing, midgets especially, where it's all little go-kart tracks. Racing's great, but the commitment and the excitement, I shouldn't say excitement, the danger is nowhere near running 33 midgets at Terre Haute for the Hut 100, or running the guardrail at the Belleville Midget Nationals,
Yeah.
or 120 on a cushion at Manzanita for 30 laps or 40 laps trying to win the Western World when it was the Western World. So, and I think over time, things get lost because
That's what a lot of people don't understand. So I'm just a little inside baseball.
you have to start in the first 3 rows Saturday if you think you got a chance to win the thing. There's no, I mean, Larson said it the same thing last night. He goes, you ain't going to win this thing from the 3rd row back. There's no way. There's too many good guys. 40 laps. They shaved 15 laps off this thing, and we're still going to get 12 laps through the middle wet. So all that does is time. Like, we have no time now. So that slider you think about doing in a couple, no, you're doing it.
You're doing it now. You know, every night it's like, wow.
Grant Cruz, late night with the devil, dude. This Saturday night, you are going to see the best Chili Bowl feature you've ever seen in your life. I mean, these are the best. These aren't the best midget racers. These are the best racers. You tell me right now, go find 3 better racers than Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell, and Logan Seavey.
Yeah, I'm just.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I'll wait. Like, Kyle Busch, champion, NASCAR champion. I think he's NASCAR's winningest driver in all the disciplines, all 3 divisions, and he's not even close.
Yeah, well, and
like, it's crazy how good they are. So,
and speaking of him, not to cut you off, but speaking of him and Ty Gibbs, I want to give a shout out to them because they're putting their stuff out there. You know, for guys that come from that world, you know, you're going to get beat up when you come over here and get beat up on at the Chili Bowl. I mean, they're going to take some shit. So just shout out to those guys for, you know, putting their stuff out there to be willing to try this because it's not something easy to do.
No, not at all. And here's the funny thing is Ty Gibbs is going to win something this week. You know what he's going to win? Best looking car.
Yeah.
Dude, that thing, listen, I need to tweet those guys and let them know how we do it on the West Coast. You need to baby oil the sidewalls.
Yeah.
That's an old ascot baby oil. It's all it is baby oil. A little baby oil goes a long way. You get those sidewalls all trimmed up, make it look all cherried out. Trust me. But Ty Gibbs, and you're right, dude. I saw those guys for practice at Turkey Night. He come up, sat right in front of me all by himself, just chilling. He's in his own little world, dude.
Yeah.
His buddies, his guys come up and sat. I think he lost his dad, which sucks. I lost my dad, but he's sitting there maybe with his guys, and he's just kind of like, you know, looking and seeing some of the guys that are doing it the right way. Like, oh, that guy stuck the bottom real good. Like, oh, that guy blew it through the middle. Like, you could see that he's looking at the right stuff. Like, he's understands that, okay, this guy does it right. This guy, don't watch that guy. Like, what? Yeah. It's like, you know, so, yeah, I think it's cool that he's there. And I don't know what happened with the old coach, dude, but whatever it is. But here's the thing, too. People got to remember that this isn't a new thing for Gibbs, meaning Tony Stewart fought for it.
Yeah.
And he did. I mean, Tony couldn't run 100 dirt races a year in his prime, but, oh, yeah, he was going to be at Chili Bowl. Oh, yeah, he was going to run a few USAC shows. Oh, he was going to get his races in. Don't think he wasn't. So for Joe Gibbs to kind of take a bunch of crazy heat initially for not letting Bell or his guy, nah, dude, like, we're grateful because the old coach, man, he let Tony do his shit. Tony move the needle for years because he fought to race these races. So interest the old grandpa, and grandpa's like, you know what, man, I got all this wonderful shit. I got millions of dollars. I got fucking this and that.
Yeah, let's just go do it.
I never seen, hey, listen here, kiddo. You're my grandson. I ain't got much time left. I never seen a hearse with a luggage rack. It's all yours, man. If this what makes you happy, let's fucking let the dog see the rabbit, man. And I think that's what we're seeing. And not only that, it not only affects Ty Gibbs positively, it affects everybody else in the world. Briscoe, Bell, they're 2 dirt guys, hardcore. So now it affects all their people because now they affect us because now we're all the same people. So really, when Ty Gibbs came into the NASCAR world, whether it was a coincidence or not, nobody liked that kid because he was starting fights, driving like an asshole, and Twitter's blowing up every 5 minutes. But now, wow, what a lateral move. Get involved in the dirt deal and hire the two most popular dirt guys besides Larson to run our cup shit.
Exactly.
Wow, you'd think these guys are good businessmen and smart people. So not only are they smart, they're choosing to run the same kind of races we like. So let's not treat them like shit until they give us a good reason to. And he hasn't.
Yeah, well,
Let it ride.
well said. What that right there will cover up, our Chili Bowl talk. But I really appreciate you coming on the show. I really do. It's an honor to sit and bullshit with you over something that we both have a passion for. And like I said to start the show, there's always Speed Vision and ESPN, but for just a guy that's doing it out of his backpack, there would be no flow, there would be no Dirt Vision if it wasn't for Jack Slash. So thank you for
that's nice of you to say.
Yeah, thank you for coming on the show. And like I said, a lot of people may or may not agree with that, but I was there a lot of Saturday nights and seeing you recording races at one track and having video of the other track, and then the next morning have everything up online for people to see, and that goes a long way. I remember that. I'm a person that I love streaming. I loved all the races, but I was doing that back in the day with Jack Slash and Sports Plus videos, getting all the World of Outlaws tapes and stuff. The world needs, and they got through you. So thank you for all your contributions.
No, thanks to everybody else. Thanks to you, dude. I mean, really, at this point in my life, at this point for me, I've been away for a long time, not doing it full time as everybody knows. But for me at this point, it's just about contributing and giving back. And again, being expressive, giving your opinions. I got 30 something years of knowledge of doing, dirt track racing media. You know what I mean? So anything I can do to help and open up the setup book to help people and shine the light bright on what you're doing and what you're doing, what you're about, dude, let's go. That's what it's about. It's about the community, the culture, the engagement. That's the key word here. Engage. No matter if you're the Outlaws, Dirt Vision, all these people. Find a way to get the fans involved. Find a way to do that. It's important. So,
all right. Thanks again. That is the man, the myth, the legend, Jack Slash. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, dude. Appreciate you.